Ewan, and behind the camera is Morgan this morning again. We are in the far west, as you can see this morning, looking for the African wild dog this morning. So we've literally picked up on a few tracks in this area. We left quite a bit early this morning trying to see if we can catch up on these tracks because we knew the dogs were in the far west. And so the plans are this morning to actually see and try to see if we can find them and play on the African wild dogs doorstep, if I can put it that way. So the wind's been blowing the entire morning, actually quite a bit from the east. So it looks like that they are coming, well, the wind specifically coming from the east would be meaning that they could be going through to further eastern positions. The tracks have gone further into a western direction, but I'm sure eventually it's going to turn back into the wind direction. Dogs always got to have to hunt into the wind or skew into the wind as it is. So we're going to just take a drive further down the road here and see if we can possibly get some more tracks and see what we can do finding these tracks further down as it goes. And so as we're looking at this particular conditions in this area as well, it's quite dense. As you can see, there's quite a bit of these three thorn bushes around with these three angles, actually, as you can see it, three particular angles that comes out like that. But yeah, that is the three thorn bush, and you'll see the soils out here is not as red as well. And so it's a calcium or calcrete mineral that comes into the soils in the far west here of the reserve. And so with that, you get to a point where you'll have this type of vegetation actually coming out in this particular regions. You will find also the type of browsers like kudu in this areas as well. Sometimes the odd eland here and there. And so as you come into these areas, you find potentially other different animals as well.
Imagine having your own secluded African bush home where you and your friends can enjoy the ultimate safari experience. If you sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer, this could become a reality. Tumbeta House is located in the heart of Djuma Private Game Reserve, the home of Wild Earth. You could win a chance to stay at this intimate wilderness retreat, offering you the rare and highly sought-after privilege of your own home in the bush. The prize includes 3 nights for 6 people and includes daily game drives, a chance to see the Wild Earth camp, and have dinner with one of our guides. Sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer before the end of February 2021 and you could be heading to Djuma, the place that we call home. Available dates are limited, so terms and conditions apply.
We stopped as the dusk was settling and there was a zebra mare underneath the bush. She was lying down. We didn't really know what was happening, and then we saw it.
Everybody, there's a zebra giving birth there. There's a zebra giving birth. This is a zebra giving birth. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, you clever mare. Well done. It's born, everyone. It's born and it's alive and it looks fine.
This was, of course, an unusual sighting. Normally, herbivores like impala and wildebeest and zebra will give birth during the middle of the day. This is when their predators like lions and hyenas are fast asleep. But as this little foal took its first steps, the dying embers of the day had just gone over the western horizon, and it was just the time that the hyenas and lions were starting to get active and go out foraging. This is why we didn't light up the sighting, of course. It may have compromised the zebra's eyes and at the same time attracted those hyenas and lions to the activity.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feeds.
Well, it's a blustery day all through the low veld, as I'm sure you've seen in Djuma, and the winds are upon us here at Pridelands as well. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Johan. And like I said, we're here at Pridelands. We're sitting out on Impala Plains looking at, not Impala, but in fact zebra. So it's, well, there's actually a few animals short of what we've got here today, but let's have a quick look at the zebra that we've got here. It's a nice big herd. It's not very often that we get to see. Oh, guess what, Johan? To the left, just below where the impala are, there is a hyena on its way. Can you see that? It's just stopped. You've got it there. Sorry, there. Unfortunately, Pridelands has got a massive, very important power station, that which you can see sort of on the boundary between two properties, between us and Jajani, but there's a hyena marching towards the impala. Hello. We'll talk about the zebra in a minute. But very, very windy day, great day for hunting. And we know that hyenas absolutely like to chase after all sorts of prey. So we'll see what it gets up to. Right now it doesn't look like it's doing much. Zebra keeping a close eye on it, of course. Not that one hyena is going to take down a fully grown zebra by itself, but perhaps a foal, although good luck, because the motherly instinct of zebra is very strong, and they will definitely put up a fight. No, still carrying on, still just sort of looking. It's like it's at the shopping centre, sort of just browsing up and down the aisles. Not quite sure what it wants, but when it sees it, it'll take it. Look how more excited it is. Ears are much more perked. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. That's what it's doing. So you can see the behaviour change quite nicely there. How it was very blasé earlier, and now it is just sort of galloping after a jackal that is running in front of it. That jackal has now picked up so much speed. Wait, just ran through the impala. So there's the one. There's two jackals here. Impala are not very happy about this. Now they have seen the... Oh, there's so much commotion going on. Jackal's now going to follow the hyena. What a cool little standoff. So we were here the other day and we were watching the jackals move towards a herd of impala, especially one with a female with a young lamb, and we noticed how the impala was standing out in the open, just making themselves known. Pretty much everyone is doing that now. What you can't see, just because it's a bit far away, but the impala are all standing upright. The wildebeest are staring. See, there we go. There's the impalas running in to make sure that the hyena knows what's going on, and also so they can keep a close eye on it too. Not very impressed. Got a full belly, so definitely it has had something to eat. Not as fat as we normally see hyenas. I'm not sure who this is. It's been so difficult to try and keep tabs on the hyenas when you don't see them all the time. Katie, yes, I mean, hyenas, they're very much opportunistic feeders, as are most of the predators, so they might catch a jackal and eat it. However, I think that an impala would be a tastier meal, but as we know, hyenas are not very picky. They literally will eat anything, and even their own kind. If there is a dead hyena, they're definitely not going to let that go to waste. They'll gobble it straight up. So that is how efficient these animals are. You can see those rams, impala rams, are not too comfortable. So again, not running away though, just keeping a close eye on what's going on. So hyenas are interesting. You know, obviously we see them collectively spending a large amount of time together at dens, but for the most part, hyenas spend a fair amount of time on their own. And if they do find something big enough that, say, has died, they might call in the rest of the clan to come and feast or join in on the feast with them. But otherwise, if they're just going to go around and maybe hunt small things like impala or scrub hares, they eat a lot of scrub hares, or really whatever they can find, they'll probably eat it just on their own. Females obviously spend a lot more time together. The males not really too tolerated around the den site, so they'll come through, but I couldn't get a good enough glimpse as to if this was a male or a female. It's very difficult to sort of tell. Didn't look like a very large individual, but you kind of need to have a look at the nether regions to really be able to tell. And unfortunately, like I said, just because we don't know the individuals so well, we don't see them consistently, and the hyenas aren't named on this property, so it's difficult to sort of get a view. I've got some photos, but every time I look at them, they all look like different individuals. I think the clan on Pridelands is actually quite big. We see them extend all the way into Boston. I don't know if you remember, we had a giraffe that had died, and we had some hyenas feeding on it, and that's very, very far. Now, I believe that you're all quite shook, as the youth of today might say, that the impalas don't care. They care to a degree, but an impala is definitely going to outrun a hyena, and they're far more athletic of the two mammal species. So as long as the prey species keeps a close eye on what's going on, then they should typically keep okay. They should be okay. Hyenas are amazing though, and there's been some fantastic footage on the live camera that is at Djuma. I don't know if you've all seen it, but I forget who it was, which hyena it was, that was running around and chasing impala and successfully catching the impala too. Literally, it almost sounded like it just tripped them, and as they fell, grabbed hold of it and crushed the skull. It's very gruesome, but very effective. No chance for impala to let out or barely let out a distress call, and then they just start feasting on it immediately. In an area like Djuma on the Sabi Sand, where the predator density is quite high, that's kind of what you want. But now you can see everybody has relaxed. I don't know where the jackal have gone, unfortunately. I'm probably just sitting down in the grass now. Hey, hello, zebra on the left is doing a bit of a phlegm and grimace, so that's the outward expression that we see quite a few different animal species doing, where they curl their top lip up. So I know a few of you have heard this, but it's quite an important thing for animals. They have something called a Jacobson organ, which is situated in the roof of their mouth. We can't really see it, sort of between their nasal cavity and their top lip. On their palate almost, there's two little holes. If you Google some images, you might be able to find some examples of what it is, and then they use that typically to test urine to see if females are coming into estrus or not. But you also see females doing it sometimes. I know my horses and all the horses used to do it, especially if you had something funny sort of smelling on your hand. So it's a sense organ. So I'm sure they're able to pick up many different things. You can see, I think it's a male, one of the stallions there on the outside doing that, having a good rub. Oops, off you go to wild dogs that are on the move.
So what we've just found is one of the most endangered species in Africa. We've got an African wild dog pack right in front of us right now. So that is one of the most magical species in this Kalahari ecosystem. It looks like these guys have just literally came to this position as we've tracked their tracks through this block, coming through this particular area, and it looks like, as you can see, the bodies have been rubbed off there. There's some love in the air happening a bit here. That's the alpha pair that's actually rubbing their bodies off against each other there, and wild dogs actually got the scent gland right behind their shoulder blades, and that scent gland is what's been rubbed off there on each other. It's like a fragrance for the wild dog pack itself in that situation. But yeah, mission succeeded. So this is not a very big pack of dogs. There's actually one right behind us. Let's keep the focus in the front though. Let's keep on going and see if we can follow up and keep up with these dogs. See what we can do. You can see they're moving through the thickets here. The one at the back is the beta female. You can see the dog's ears actually sticking out of the three thorn bushes as we spoke about it earlier on. But yeah, you can see some of these dogs have got collars as well. The reasoning behind that is because these wild dogs are so critically endangered. Guys, we're looking at about something like 350 to 400 dogs left in the wild in this country as it is. And like I mentioned yesterday, actually, the numbers fluctuate quite a lot due to canine distemper and rabies as it is. So coming due to the collar, well, the collar presence is that we need to see an updated ping daily coming through. And just because they are such a critically important species to this game reserve and to Tuala Kalahari as well, we need to be able to keep on going with them and monitoring them, just seeing their movement. So yes, we knew where to come this morning for tracks, but then we had to follow the tracks, and then this is how we found them in this given area. Sorry, I missed that question, Morgan. Would you just repeat that? Yes, she's so beautiful. Okay, you are commenting, saying it's so exciting to see wild dogs. Once again, I couldn't agree more. It's so fantastic to see such a wonderful species in this particular ecosystem occurring in a spot like this, being in its true natural formation in this particular environment. So gorgeous. Now, as you can see, the paintings that we've been looking at, the paintings of these African wild dogs are made to blend in with a savanna, thicketland environment like this, for instance. So special. So let's just go across towards that area. You can see the ears sticking out in that particular spot there. And we do have a herd of wildebeest in front, actually, which they might be approaching over there on that side. Looks like they're making a bit of a loop around them, going out back that way again. And one more dog in front of us. Guys, we're literally sitting with one of the most incredible species in Africa right now. I mean, this is so special to be part of a conservation concept, being able to deal with something like this. And seeing the family, the owners of Tuala specifically, being so passionate about a species like this and wanting their species to thrive in an area where they truly belong. And so they are also indirectly apex predators of this environment, as they are the top killer in Africa. So they're top successful hunter, as I've mentioned, and being in that situation, they actually take care of the general population of general game quite a bit, and it keeps a very good balance in nature as it is. So what's happening now is you would have the alpha pair being the main leaders of this particular pack, and it gets to a point that the alpha leaders with the beta second in charge leaders, as we spoke about it with the white-browed sparrow weavers and the meerkats and so forth. It comes down to leadership that is a strong leadership in this ecosystem that works as a family unity together. And so that is what brings the success to this fantastic hunting success that they have in total. But look at that beautiful white colors on a complete different topic. The white colors on the alpha female in front there. You can see how they marking a spot there as well. But that behavior being practiced there right now, that specifically is to do with we actually, myself and Morgan found earlier, we found a set of brown hyena tracks, and whenever wild dogs find any species of hyena, they do not like an hyena. So wherever they find the scent of an hyena, they would like sort of defecate their markings or their scent onto that spot. And it's almost like they're giving them a message saying, this is our land, and you better dare hope we're not finding you. It's such a special species. So incredible.
Like a jewel, at what point were the wild dogs considered an endangered
Tiger Jaw, you've just asked at what point are wild dogs considered to be endangered species. That happened about roughly over close to 20 years ago already. The species have been seen as being threatened, and it's basically when the numbers went down below 1,000 and even 2,000 animals. I mean, there used to be African wild dog all over Africa as it is, and all over Africa meaning West Africa, East Africa, and then over to the Kalahari and into the eastern sections, Kruger Park, those areas. And so again, the similar type of situation like we spoke about it with the Kalahari lions yesterday, the desert lions. So it comes down to that, again, land loss of habitat, as well as canine distemper and rabies, which is the diseases which would be taking a bit of charge on wild dogs that could demolish their populations. So it's things like that that brings their numbers down, that when they approached about easily up to about 7,000 to 8,000 animals, that was already considered to be endangered. But there's a system called AWT, which is the African Wildlife Tracking, and then also you get the WAG system in South Africa that looks after wild dogs, monitoring the wild dog systems in South Africa itself. And that is how we keep on being updated by numbers and so on. And but yeah, the numbers currently as it stands, we're looking at about just over 5,000, 4.5 to 5,000 left in the wild in Africa. And in this country, we're looking at about close to around about roughly 400. So that's obviously critically endangered is what we're looking at. Let's try to move a bit forward. I see they've just gone lying down. Darcy Ann, this pack here is actually not one of the biggest packs. It's only about 4 dogs. So what you're looking at, hey, this guy just got a fright. So what you're looking at is a pack of 4 dogs. And being in this condition, it's literally a alpha pair, alpha male, alpha female, beta male, beta female, as it is. And so that pair that you're looking at there, the one just lift up ahead, that's the alpha female. And the one on the left, beautiful, beautiful colors on that dog as well, that is the alpha male. So the pair on the left-hand side, which is the beta pair. And so this is literally the pack composition. So there's no supporter unit here yet. It's mostly alpha pair and beta pair. But the good news about this condition and situation is that it's a strong unity forming so strong that they will become so successful. And on top of the good news of that female that you see on the right-hand side of the screen, she's basically the alpha female with the alpha male being so strongly bonded together and sticking together. It's almost like a married couple. Wherever she goes, he goes. And just over about a week and a half, 2 weeks, we've literally had it where they've been mating successfully. So wild dogs, their gestation period runs up to about 71, 73 days. So hopefully within the last week of May, or if everything went well, within June, first week of July, you're looking at something like we're having pups around. And typically in good conditions like we're looking at right now, these good conditions could be getting to situations of, obviously with the vegetation being so high in nutritional value, we're looking at conditions where they might actually, by nature, get to a sort of a... Nature gets to conditions and, can I say, feelings that it just knows that it will need to be lifting up its population quite dramatically, because that is going to be the way to success. Obviously, because it's such a small pack as well. And but yeah, fantastic to be, and shall I say, what an honor and a privilege to see such an endangered species in the Kalahari, to an area where they truly, really belong as well. So yeah, very beautiful. So the pair that Morgan just had on the screen there was the beta pair. This is, again, the alpha pair. James, you're asking how different are these wild dogs from the dogs in Kruger? This, you know what, right in the beginning of, let's say, when Africa was like, let's say, 1,000 years ago, it's gotten to a point, if you look at the colors on this particular wild dog, you're looking at a lot of white colors coming to the chest, and all wild dogs mostly have yellow in the face. But you're looking at the white colors in the face, and you're looking at some dark colors, some yellows, so a nice combination coming into there, which is typically the Kalahari dogs. So there's 3 subspecies that you can recall to in South and Southern Africa. So that, as you're looking at it right now, that's typically the Kalahari dogs formation. Kruger dogs you would find sometimes displaying quite dark by nature, and that's a subspecies as well. So there's 3 subspecies as we speak about it. And that's a darker dog. Look at those white colors as we spoke about them. Beautiful white colors coming through. And that's something that doesn't happen often on wild dogs, to see that amount of white colors actually. It sounds like she's just heard something. But because the species are so endangered, it's gotten to a point where sometimes you get to a situation where a wild dog pack, something happened to them. For instance, lions killed a certain number of the pack. Now they lost their structure of leadership and their way of leadership as they go through life. So now some of the dogs, something similar happened to another pack, let's say in Zimbabwe, for instance. Then from a conservational point of view, you could actually take those 2 packs and bond them together in what you call a climatizing boma from a conservational point of view. And then once those dogs are used to each other and getting comfortable with each other, then they could be released as a new pack. And because being an endangered species in Africa, it gets to a point that you don't really have that existing subspecies as to what I was saying in the beginning about 1,000 years ago, roughly, with the different species. But that's what we're looking at roughly. There should be still some of those iconic species left in certain areas, like we're seeing that particular female being a typical Kalahari coloration that we're looking at there. But yeah, there's these days there's really no differences really between Kruger dogs or dogs that's, for instance, in KwaZulu-Natal, or dogs in the Kalahari anymore. The only difference is that you could get sometimes a lot of animals in the Kalahari becomes quite big. Reasoning behind that is because there's enough landscape in the Kalahari, and if it's an animal species typically like the African wild dog, they become rather large in size as well, taller, because it's an area where they need a lot of stamina. As you can see, this beautiful alpha male walking across towards us. Beautiful, beautiful structured head with stunning mane hair coming off the edge of the face. Stunning, just so gorgeous to see such a beautiful animal. Particularly this alpha male as well, so beautiful. So as you can see, the bellies are fairly still big sized, if I can put it that way. So what's happening is that we were thinking that they were possibly going to hunt this morning. When we just found them, they were actually mobile and active. And as you obviously caught them on the screen right in the beginning when we found them and located on them. So the thing is that they got into a point where they decided, you know what, it's not necessary to burn unnecessary energy. So again, we're coming back to energy consumption being a critical point within the Kalahari. Using the right amount of energy at the right time is very important. If you overconsume, you might not have enough energy again for the next time when you get active. In the Kalahari Desert, you need to think very carefully before you do, because it's an environment of extremes. Look at that maintenance happening. They're just taking care so well of each other. And this is why I love wild dogs so much, is that there's exactly that. So much love being represented towards each other in that situation and conditions. Lana, you saying it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I agree full on. It's just so special to see such an incredibly endangered species, and so beautiful, so incredible, so gorgeous. Look at that alpha female just standing, holding a position over her back and just scouting the area. And ever since they came to lie down on the edge of the bush here, it seemed like they were not too happy yet to lie down. Typically in this area, you could get some bigger animals that could possibly hurt them as they stumble across them. So animals like a big eland herd or something like that. Because it's a small pack, there's a lot of surprises happening in areas where the three thorn thickets are this dense. You can see that thick belly that we were talking about. The belly is quite full still actually from yesterday, so they possibly could have taken down something like a red hartebeest in this area, or something like a big warthog or so on, and that's why the bellies are still fairly big. And again, it comes back to energy consumption that needs to be used and utilized at the right time. And when they're hungry, they've rested enough by that time, digested the right amount of food for the next time when they get active. So we're going to be sticking with these dogs for a tiny bit longer and see what happens. I mean, anything could happen. It's still nice and cool. The breeze are coming through quite nicely. So we'll see you folks in a couple of few minutes. See what happens next.
When on safari, there is nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature.
Converging game path will invariably lead you to a water source, but treat all water as suspect. One of my favorite ways of purifying water is to filter out the particulates. And by just filtering it through your sock, you can clear out most of those. You can put water into a snail shell and you can boil it over a fire or using a chemical like chlorine or colloidal silver.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at Wild Earth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
The croc is still holding another one there. It's holding from the hindquarters. I would really want. The wildebeest cross, is it trying? The croc is holding the tail. It's holding tight. Oh no. Goodness me. Lucky wildebeest. You have another day to live.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I come to you live every day here from Tshwane, Kalahari in South Africa. My favorite animal in the Kalahari has to be the aardvark. Its unique appearance, its ethology, and as well as ecology within this vast ecosystem is amazing, and something that I have been really lucky to experience on foot here at Tshwane.
Catch up with the guides daily here on Wild Earth.
We are here at Treehouse Dam at the moment. We have followed up on some lion tracks, but you know, like I said, there's certain roads and areas that we can't go on, and we saw a male lion, but he moved towards Twin Dams Road and we can't go there. So hopefully we'll pop out onto quarantine a little later. Maybe he's moved around. But for now, like I said, a beautiful scene at Treehouse Dam. Oh, good stretch from our Egyptian goose. Some lovely posing waterbuck. These lovely ladies are jumping on a little bit late. I always think that they're great for Valentine's Day because they have this heart-shaped nose. Look at their noses. Just so lovely. They are stunners, aren't they? A woodland kingfisher shouting at us amongst the wind that you may be able to hear. And there's also a blacksmith lapwing walking about. There we go, perfectly timed to walk into frame. So a really pretty scene here at Treehouse Dam. And so apt to see the waterbuck near the water. I can't say that I've seen waterbuck too often around Treehouse Dam. But they're very, very, very water dependent. They'll drink several times a day, and they often flee into water. Hence their name. They can get quite prone to dehydration.